For Gooners everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. For match highlights, interviews, and the best Arsenal videos and podcasts. Download the free Gunners app now from the App Store and Google Play.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Same Old Arsenal. We're doing another Pots preview tonight because it is the FA Cup coming up at the weekend, and I've got some fantastic guests with me, as you can see. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Lee Judges, and you're on time again, Lee. This is getting regular now, man. I'm happy with this. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, on time. Thank you very much. Can I just ask a serious question? Right, serious question. You know when, because I wasn't on the show on Monday. Yeah. And so I watched it, and you know, like the ads and everything like that, they go quite long. When you're actually in the podcast, they just go like that. It's very weird, very very weird.
Time flies when you're having fun, Lee. That's what it is, mate. Yeah,
like the actual advert don't come into it and all that. Like, you know, you check this out, like, guy. You know what I mean? They seem to get a lot longer version than what we do. Very weird. But anyway, that's my. That's my little thing about it. But
mate, do you know what I reckon? Do you know what I reckon it is, Lee? You're just getting old, mate. That's what it is. You're just getting old. It's starting to, you know, the hairs are starting to go off your head.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what it is, like, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
Full set there.
Man, that's what Arsenal does to you, man. That's what Arsenal does to you.
Yeah.
Joining me from City Fan TV again, he is coming on to the Same Old Arsenal. It's Ray. Ray, how you doing, bro?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I thought with that introduction you were going to say got some serious guests and Lee Judges, but
it ain't took him long, is it? Like, you know what I mean?
Look.
Come on, Arsenal.
The thing is, Judges spent half a minute or 1 minute talking about a beard advert and how it's so quick. I got so much time to think of these lines, Judges.
Well, there's a like, because you know they're our sponsors. See, I've now highlighted it a little bit more. See, it's all clever stuff, really. Like, you know, all clever.
So next time I'm on, I'll grow a beard for it.
I'll tell you what. By the way, just quickly before we go on anything else, by the way, Alex Lacazette has got the best beard in the Premiership. End of. Best beard in the Premiership. Well, anybody can come back to me in the chat or on here to defend that statement. I'm willing to go. Alex Lacazette has got the best beard in the Premier League.
Well, there you go.
Looks a bumfluff beard, that.
It's a serious beard. If I could grow a beard like that, I'd grow one. I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? It's serious. Seriously, it's a top beard.
Well, we are going to move on to people who has got a beard, and first of all, we're going to move to Kenny Ken, because that is a hell of a beard right there, bro. How you doing, Ken?
Well,
Premiership material.
I haven't shaved since my daughter's birthday, which was in March. So you could see how the coronavirus is kind of affecting my appearance. But as you say, I love a beard anyway, but I don't like it this long and this grey at the bottom.
But mate, it is a pleasure to have you on the podcast again, Kenny. You know you're always welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good man. And last but not least, I'm back by popular demand, I must say, on Twitter. It is Manny. Manny, how you doing, bro?
I doubt it was by popular demand, bro. I very much doubt it. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Manny, has your mum got 10 accounts on Twitter? That's how it works for me.
She could barely use her phone.
Do you imagine what it'd be like if I won the league? Can you imagine it?
Listen, boys, we are going to talk about the weekend's game and we're going to get right into it. It is going to be a very interesting one. I'm going to start with Kenny on this because this is going to be an FA Cup game, Kenny. How important is this game for Arsenal's season this weekend, Ken? What do you make of it?
100% important, it's especially for morale, because in terms of like the upheaval we've had, in terms of like the Unai Emery being handed out, and then the transition between Lundberg and Arteta. If any club needs a trophy, we need a trophy. And another thing as well, the reason why this game is so important is because Man City have humiliated us in quite a lot of the games we've played them. This season, home and away, they destroyed us. The League Cup final 2 years ago still hurts, because it was basically men against boys. And I think what Arsenal need as well is that we're playing probably one of the best teams in Premiership history, because of not only because of the fact that they're a strong side, but it's the football they play. And I'm a massive admirer of how they play the game, and it's probably the most difficult thing in football at the moment is to beat Man City, because once they get their teeth in, it's so hard to keep them at bay, because they're just relentless. I've never seen a team that can attack you from any other part of the pitch. Even their goalkeepers that got an assist this season.
Yeah.
Well, and we're talking about a few. So in terms of that, getting a big scalp like Man City will be very important for our season, very important for Arteta's morale and for our morale. Plus, if we beat City, we got another big game in the final, because there's going to be two good teams as well, either Chelsea and Man United, again, our rivals who've caused us a lot of strife in the last few years. So it'd be very important for our morale to win a trophy, but also to beat three good teams on the way to winning it.
When's your moving date to Manchester, Kenny? What day? When are you moving up there? What day is it?
I must say, mitigation. I've been to Manchester, and I'll tell you one thing, right? It's one of the best times I've ever had.
Ah, it's fantastic city.
Yeah, one for obviously football and boxing, watching the Arsenal and boxing. But I'll tell you what, it was like being in London. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place.
Loved it.
If you've not been to Manchester. Yeah, if you've never been to Manchester, we go there quite a lot, So if you've never been there, for a city break, it is top notch. You know what I mean? Top notch.
I have to totally agree. I've been in Manchester when I was young, and I absolutely loved it. Manny, let's come to you, man, because me and you have both said, or both been quite open about the fact that a season out of Europe would not be the end of the world due to the state that we are in. But if it means that winning the FA Cup gets into Europe, I would accept it personally, because it's a trophy. What do you make of this game this weekend, and what are you expecting, Manny?
It's almost do or die, isn't it? It's whoever turns up, it's whoever wants it. It's all or nothing for us, really. It's just another semi-final. For them, they've been relaxed. They've been able to slowly get into the gears and play their football. But for us, it means everything. And for me, what I see is a team that understands what it means. That it's not just a semi-final, that essentially could be our future for the next year or so. I want to see the players turn up. I want to see them grind, and I want to see them earn it. If that means we go down to City, show me something at least, and I won't be so mad.
Yeah, listen, I've said before the last few weeks, it's all been about the performance. And last night, I didn't want to touch on too much, but I will go into it, and I'll bring you in, Lee. I didn't really see a performance last night, but I saw a result. You take that at the weekend, though, Lee, right?
Yeah, listen, I'm getting a little bit annoyed about yesterday, because I'm going to be honest. I was really down after Sunday. I thought the way that we lost that game, we shouldn't have lost that game, but we did, because we couldn't defend properly. So I was a little bit down going into the game. Liverpool, come here, they put their best team out that they possibly could, and for the first 20 minutes, done a number on us. But we they give us goals, so they say, and we ended up winning 2-0. I looked at the second goal. I want people to go back and look at that. Yes, their goalkeeper makes a mistake, but Lacazette's pass is sensational. You know what I mean? Like, they could give the ball back, give us the ball there, and he could kick it out for a throw-on, which I've seen, or a goal kick, which I've seen happen many a time. So, no credit given to Arsenal whatsoever, because it was very similar to the Spurs game, the way we lost that game. We was the dominant side against Spurs, but everybody praised Spurs. Oh, great performance, great tactical battle from them, blah, blah, blah. When we do it, it's all about, nothing about, halfway through the game. I'll tell you what, I watched the highlights last night. First, when they started off, Martin Tyler goes, "Oh, the Liverpool players are going to be right up for this to try and get the 102 points and knock it off for Manchester City. He's gone with his strongest team. This is why it's shown his intent." Halfway through the game, no, they've obviously like not that too, but they're on the beach and all that, like, you know, absolute joke. You know, when have Arsenal, I've sick and tired of Arsenal dominating games of football and losing. Right, all of a sudden they've gone in there and they've put out a game plan and defended, and haven't played it to the strengths of Liverpool. What Liverpool want is you to start attacking them, and they hit you on the break, and before you know it, like we have been in times past, been 2 or 3 goals down. No, we went with a game plan yesterday, and the game plan wasn't pretty, but the end result is what matters, and we got the result, and that is what we've got to do against Man City. If we go toe to toe with Manchester City, they've got better players than us, lads. You know what I mean? So we're not going to beat them. We've got to go to a different way. And if that way I see yesterday is the way to do it, Southampton done it a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks, whenever it was. You know, if they went toe to toe with Manchester City, they ain't got a chance. Nor has anybody, to be fair. You know what I mean? But oh no, you know what I mean? We're going to have to change it around a little bit. And at the end of it, you know, listen, boys, there's no getting away from the fact Arsenal have got to defend as well as they did yesterday and defend really, really well. And Manchester City have got to have a slight off day or a bloody big off day. But it can happen. And if it happens, we've got to do what we've done. And I'll tell you what, which was the most impressive thing about yesterday, what no one has ever said, 2 chances, 2 goals. We had 3 or 4 chances against Tottenham and fouled them. We took our chances yesterday. We was ruthless, and I think that people should start giving us a little bit more credit than what we got. Oh, Arsenal didn't play well. Arsenal didn't play well. You know what I mean? I'm fed up with saying Arsenal played well and lost. The most important stat yesterday was Arsenal 2, Liverpool 1. End of.
Fair enough. Ray, I'll let you come in on that, mate.
I'm going to say about these Liverpool fans, and was it 95 Winston? He said Liverpool wanted the points record. They did want the points record. You know, the club had been, or their official Twitter had been putting out videos and memes and whatever about getting the new points record. You know, they had this one where it's like a video game, and they were just showing all their goals and the points going up. And it said high score 100. They wanted it, and all the fans wanted it. And it's like Lee said, now, you know, after the Lord Mayor show, oh, no, we're on the beach. We didn't want it. It doesn't matter. We got no. Everybody is going to forget Liverpool for their whatever points they're going to get this season. Hopefully, they'll lose the next 2 games and slink off with 93. But no one's going to forget the Invincibles. No one's going to forget the treble winners. No one's going to forget the Centurions. This Liverpool team will only be remembered because of the situation we're in with COVID-19. They can take their asterisk and, you know, ride up into the sunset with that. But there's one other thing I want to say, and it's going to sound absolutely crazy. I had such confidence in Arsenal yesterday, such confidence. I started doing these. I started a couple of days ago on Monday when City got off the Champions League ban. We were fully vindicated. I started doing these videos, these parody type videos. I did a couple on Monday about getting off that ban and about some journalists. And that game against that started Arsenal against Liverpool yesterday, I just thought, Arsenal are going to do this. So I started tapping away, and I thought, I'll do it. So I didn't watch much of the game. You were 1-0 down, and I still thought, no, Arsenal are going to, I just had this feeling that you're going to do it. So I did this video about Arsenal beating Liverpool, one of these memes. I did 2 of them. I was that confident. And I don't know how you hung on at the end. I was just praying you hung on at the end, because it would, you know, if you'd end up drawing that game, it'd have wasted about an hour and a half of my time. So I was just praying to hold on. And actually, when I was doing a short one, it was 1-1, and I said, "Oh, Liverpool drew with Arsenal." And then when you scored the second, I had to go and redo the whole video. But anyway, I had confidence in you because nothing was expected of you. Liverpool have been riding high on this crest of, you know, getting the winning the league. They've been crap really since then, dropping so many points. And I just thought, you know, no one's giving you a chance, but you've got a chance. You've always got a chance, and that, what, you know, we'll talk about Saturday as well. You've always got a chance. You're not rubbish. You know, you're not mid-table. You're a little bit above that at the moment in the league. That the league doesn't lie, but you've not got rubbish players. You've got some rubbish players, especially at the back. But you've got some good players. So you all know it. If I mention David Luiz, everybody's pulling the hair out. But you've got some good players up front, so there's always a chance that you're going to do it against Liverpool. In the frame of mind they're in, they just think they're going to turn up and win because that's their mindset, because they've had that all season. And I'm sure it feels the same as when City got the 100 points, because towards the end we were struggling a bit. And it is like, team, you think, we just have to turn up and win because we've won 18 on the bounce. We just have to turn up and win. And I think Liverpool underestimated you. They didn't give you the respect you deserve. And yes, they might have had a lot of chances, but they have to take that loss, take it on the chin, and you did a number on them.
So, Ray, let me stay with you then and let me answer this one. Richard's put this up. Evening, Richard. Thanks for watching, mate. Pep is worried about us as he knows Mikel Arteta was the brains behind City. I'm not so sure that he's too worried about us, if I'm honest with you, Ray. What do you make of it? Obviously, seriously going into this game, though. What do you make of Arsenal? Is it a good time to play us, bad time to play us, or is it a cup and anything can happen?
Ken, am I supposed to say blood fire? Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Yeah.
All right. That's going back about 40 years to my youth. No, I don't think Pep. Look, Pep's going to respect Arteta, but I don't think Arteta was the brains behind the deal. There was. We haven't done that well this season, compared to we're still second. So let's not get it wrong. But we haven't done obviously as well as we've done in previous seasons. And I don't think that's merely because Arteta left. I think we were already on the slide. Sterling was on the slide since September. People don't realise that if you watch his games all the time, you can see he was still scoring goals because City creates so many chances. And the tap-in is the tap-in. He was getting in the right positions to score goals. But he wasn't creating anything. I think he created, one assist before lockdown, which is pathetic for a winger. So I don't think Arteta was the driving force. I think that was just a bit of a joke from, was it Richard? But I think Pep will take him. Pep will take him seriously. You've got to respect your opponents. And yes, Arteta, he's still learning on the job as a manager, and he'll have learned from the defeat to City. Back on the restart, he'll have learned from that. He'll have taken some things, and I can't believe you're going to be as poor next time round.
Fair enough, mate. Kenny, how do we beat this Man City side, mate? If you was Mikel Arteta, what would you do? Because we didn't really get to see it, unfortunately, in the league because David Luiz got himself sent off, went down to 10 men. We got a couple of injuries. What are you expecting? Because this is a cup game and anything can happen, Ken.
Well, last time we beat Man City in an important game, we played a back three. That was at Wembley. Where basically what we normally do is that in order to get our midfield into the game, we gave them the protection of, like I said, the wing backs, and I think that's how you can get City, is because one thing about Man City is that you are going to spend a lot of time about the football. You've got to accept that, and what Arsenal needs to do, they need to train for that in order to sort of get themselves in those positions. But when the ball does break, they have to be brave in trying to get their speedsters into the game. And I think what Arsenal need to do is to beat Man City, they need to get the early goal and then be prepared to get those numbers, because City chances, they got ball players in every position, man. They got the left back, Kyle Walker can create chances. Their goalkeeper, as I said before, it's all about being compact when you're out of possession and being prepared. But what you need to do is take your chances against this team. But if you play a back four against Man City, they're going to murder you, absolutely murder you. Because what will happen is that anyone in their players, it doesn't have to be De Bruyne, it could be Silva, it could be Yava Silva, Bernardo Silva, or Sterling, any of those players, even Foden when he comes to the team, it's those little moves. Someone will, because the thing with Man City is that when a person's on the ball, everyone's moving in those directions and taking players out of their comfort zones. You look at their third goal against Liverpool, the way Foden got that goal. It was all about dragging Liverpool's defence out of position. Foden's free when the pass goes to him and it goes straight in the net. What Arsenal need to do in that sort of situation is move with the player. Don't move with the ball, move with the player and give them no sort of space. Get City to try and cross from deep. Don't get them down those silence. It's going to be very difficult to do that, but that's the only way Arsenal can do it, is when they're compact and be prepared to be running on empty when they have to ball. Sometimes, there's going to be a situation on Aubameyang is going to have to play on that left-hand side. He can't play up front. Not a chance. He is probably he can't hold the ball up to save his life. And he certainly can't play his back to goal. Lacazette has to play in that centre-forward position. And then Aubameyang and Pepe have to be playing that position. Personally, I'll leave Pepe out and put him in as a substitute, because the simple reason is that against a team like Man City, the way Pepe holds onto the ball, sometimes when he loses possession, that gives City an in. I would like some more direct playing on that right-hand side. So I would probably sacrifice Pepe and play Saka in that right-hand side, because the last thing you want to do is give City gifts. And I'm sorry, if you look at the game against Tottenham Hotspur last week, Pepe was probably the 12th man for Tottenham at times when he was losing possession. So that's that's the way you beat City. Compact, hit them on the break. When they don't have the ball, sacrifices, and keeping their like I said, their left back and their right back in areas where they don't get down that byline. You let the left back and right back get down that byline, they're going to murder you. So basically, that's how I think we're going to win it.
I'm totally with you, Kenny, in terms of a back three and a back four. I think going to a back four would be an absolute disaster. Manny, I'm going to come to you on this, because last night we saw a performance from the defenders of Holding, Tierney and Luiz. If you're Mikel Arteta, Manny, do you keep that same back three going into the cup game at the weekend?
If I'm Nuno Espirito Santo, if I'm Daniel Fark, if I'm any manager in the world, I wouldn't change that back three. No chance. I don't see Mustafi, because Kenny just talked about giving gifts. Kolasinac and Mustafi will give City a chance if they play, because those are the kind of players that they are. They will give you chances, lack of concentration. Just look at Mustafi versus Kane. Just look at that tackle versus Kane. Just completely let him go, right? Completely let him go. Sliding all over the place. Kolasinac doesn't look at Luiz, gives the ball away. These are things that City will... You play those players, you give them an opportunity. Keep that same back three. It worked. I love what Tierney is about. He's not only an attacking threat, he loves to defend. Goes about his business, defends. Salah got nothing. You keep that back three because it worked well. Do not bring Kolasinac and Mustafi back, please.
Man, it's so true. And I just have this feeling, Lee Judges, that we are going to see those three clowns at the back. Listen, I love Arteta. I love everything that he's done in his press conferences, Lee. I think he's been brilliant in his interviews. But I will call when has made mistakes. And there has been some. He's a young, naive head coach. He's still learning. But I don't think I can make many more excuses, Lee, if he's going to bring those three defenders back in against Man City. What do you make of it, Lee?
No, I'll totally agree. Listen, I think that it was a dress rehearsal yesterday. I really do believe that, that for the defenders to see what you can do. I think that Bellerin will come back on the right hand side, as I said in the North London derby, because I think he's just got that little bit more experience. I watched Cedric yesterday, got caught out a couple of times, particularly for the first goal, didn't win his header. I thought Bellerin done okay on Sunday, so I'm going to give him a go there. But I definitely think that to get Saka in his team as well, in his more sort of fluent side, balancing it up, I think that he has to play there. Tierney and playing on the left side. And it really does come down to Mustafi or Holding for me. I've got a feeling that he'll probably go with Mustafi. I know that he has made mistakes. Totally agree with what Manny's saying there. That for when Harry Kane's running through in the penalty box, to do what he's done and just let him have it, he's pathetic defending as far as I'm concerned. I've seen enough of it. So I would go with Rob Holding personally, that back three, but I don't think that he will. But what I see yesterday was a system that come in here and put like a bank of 5 and a bank of 4. And and the one thing that I think that Manchester City, everybody goes on about how great they are, and they are great at that. The one thing that they lack is a plan B. Now, they had that many years ago with what was the centre forward's name, Ray?
Dzeko.
Dzeko. They had it with Dzeko. Didn't play every time. And then, you know, for instance, QPR, if it isn't for Dzeko, they don't go back and win that game because he's the one that gets the header, and they don't do that. So what we need to do is make them come inside to where all the traffic is, like Liverpool did yesterday, and then put in the crosses. And now, you know, Jesus and all of those guys that they've got are all very, very good footballers, but haven't got that power in the air. So that's what we've got to do on Saturday. Make them cross from wide areas. Our defenders then have got to be good enough to win those headers. I think that Rob Holding's a better header of the ball than Mustafi. That's why I go with that one. And then when they come into the midfield, let them come into the traffic, and we've got to bite, snap, and do whatever we do in the midfield. That is the way to go along against Man City. Give them the wide areas. Don't give them the middle ground. That is what we're going to have to do. And I do take on board Kenny's point about Pepe, but I just think that if you're going to beat Man City, you've got to have your best of three attacking players, and they've all got to be on full. And that's Aubameyang as well. You know what I mean? Like he was poor against Spurs. He's got to come to the front in this game. You know what I mean? Like, because when they are bombing forward, their fullbacks are bombing on, right? They will leave space in behind. And I think then if Pepe can get one-on-one with the central defenders, and I'm hoping that Fabinho will play in there as well because he's a rash boy, that someone like Pepe could get the thing on. That's the game plan. Whether it'll work or not, who knows? You know what I mean? You know, typical Arsenal, they're probably like concede with a dodgy back pass after a minute, and it's all gone cock-a-doodle-doo.
Please,
you know what I mean? But hopefully not, and that's what they've got to do. You know, but listen. You look at a team like Manchester City and you look at a team like Liverpool yesterday. Great goal that Liverpool got. Manchester City will create chances. Even if you play that system, they will create. And it just depends if the goalkeeper can have a great game. And when we ride their luck a little bit, boys, and you know, we can do. All this thing about resting players as well, like, you know, they've rested a few players. Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. I remember Arsenal resting players like Aaron Ramsey, and after 2 minutes he's got an hamstring injury. So I'm not hoping that happens to De Bruyne and a few of their guys. Really, am I? Yeah, let's hope that they do get a little tweak in the warm up. It'd be nice if De Bruyne gets injured after a couple of minutes, but also that it'd be nice if they get someone sent off halfway through the game. That'd be nice. Let's put some pressure on them, see if they can handle it.
Yeah, too right, Lee. I must admit, the one thing I will say that going back to what Kenny said as well is taking chances. We saw Lacazette miss chances against Leicester. We saw Aubameyang miss chances against Spurs. But last night we did see that we did take the 2 chances that got given to us and we didn't mess them up. So let's hope we do that going into the weekend. Ray, coming to you at the weekend. I don't think we can defend. But if there is a weak part of Man City, is it fair to say that your defence can also be got at? And does that scare you with Aubameyang and Lacazette and Pepe running at it?
It's not scared me too much in the past. But you got to be serious. I think the last time we played Arsenal, I don't even remember Aubameyang touching the ball hardly. He didn't get into the game. There's lots of areas I think you've got to be worried about, but you've also... Sometimes you've got to temper that by saying, if we spend all our time worrying about what City can do to us, then we won't do anything to them. And that's why you see teams playing with 5-4-1. You know, and you Southampton, when they beat City, they had 2 men up front and they pressed us. So, you know, we have what we try and do is when we got the ball, the 2 centre backs, so they're passing the ball around, and the 2 full backs will either come in or go wide. And so what Southampton were doing, they had 2 men to go for those 2 guys. When the ball was passed in the midfield for someone to come and get it, they'd send someone through, and that's how they got the ball off Zinchenko, scored a goal. You saw the next game, I think Newcastle started off like that, and then they just, after about 4 minutes, they give up on that idea. But you see, other teams, when you put 2 up front and put some pressure on, it slows City down. And when you make the pitch a bit narrower or the game a bit narrower, and you double team our guys out wide, you're making it more difficult for us, and you're giving yourself a chance to win that ball back, because we'll give you the ball a few times. We'll certainly give you the ball away, and it's how you go through our team, because some of them, I think, some City players are slow to come back. They rely on the back 4 or 5 to do their job, and I've seen it plenty of times. De Bruyne's jogging back, Rodri's jogging back. So when you've got the ball, you've got to make the best of it as quick as you can. You can't launch it like Liverpool do and hope to pick up scraps. But you've got to go through our team as quickly as you can and not let these players jog back and take advantage. So you've got the pace. You just got to use it. And then if Otamendi's playing, just run at him. Because at the time he'll just tip you over. I'm not sure who's going to start. I'm hoping it's Garcia and Laporte. I think that's probably.
Well, I was gonna come to you before. I'm gonna ask the three lads what they think the Arsenal team will be in a minute, so it gives them a couple of minutes to have a bit of a think about what team they'd go with. But Ray, what team are you going to put out? What are we going to have against us, Man City wise?
This is what I think. I want obviously Ederson in goal, Walker at right back. I want Garcia with Laporte, Mendy. Normally, I'd have Mendy, but unless his fitness has improved a lot, he can't play twice in 3 days. So that's a bit concerned. But I'd go for Mendy. My defensive midfielder, I really struggle trying to work out who I'd have, whether it's Gundogan or Rodri. I'm tempted to go for Rodri. And then the attacking midfielders, I'd have Kevin De Bruyne, obviously. Needs no second mention. I played David Silva with him because I think David Silva's been brilliant since the restart. He plays maybe 60 minutes of a game, 65 minutes. I think I'd want him and then bring Bernardo Silva on for his energy later on. And up front, Mahrez, he's done pretty well since the restart. And obviously Sterling, he's done exceptionally well. And Gabriel Jesus up front. I think that's pretty much going to be City's best team. The only thing that you might change the personnel would be Gundogan and Rodri, but I think the rest basically pick themselves.
No Foden, right?
No chance. Not for me. He started off after the restart really well. He had 3 goals in I think 104 minutes, and it was absolutely ludicrous when they were doing the goal. The player of the month. He wasn't even mentioned. So he was joint top scorer in the league since we came back. He did it in 104 minutes, and the rest of them were like they're players who scored 2 goals in. And played most of the games. Foden did it in just over 1 game's worth of football. But the last couple of games, he's not contributed enough for me. He's got the energy, he's got the desire, he's got the commitment. But, am I going to drop Foden for David Silva? No chance. I want someone who's going to control the game. And David Silva basically has been doing that for 10 years, controlling the game, getting between the lines. Foden might get to the same level of David Silva one day, might surpass him. But right now, I want my best players, and David Silva is still one of our best players.
100% agree with you. Just before I move on to Kenny, Vishnu, thank you very much for your kind donation, mate. Hello from India. Say hi to the judge.
No, that's 100 rupees, Kenny. That's 100
How we doing? And he reckons that we're going to get a 2-1 masterclass. I'm liking him. I'm loving him even more. So
Vishnu,
keep watching. Come you Gunners.
Vishnu, if we do get a 2-1, mate, I'd love it. Absolutely love it.
I love it. That'd be good, eh? That would be good.
It would be good indeed. Kenny, coming to you with team news for Arsenal, mate. What do you think Arteta's gonna do? What team do you think he's going to pick out there on Saturday, mate?
Well, I see he's definitely going to have a back 3, but I think what will happen is that Bellerin's going to come on the sort of the right wing back, left wing back. I think it's going to be Tierney. I think the centre halves are going to be David Luiz in the middle for his quarterback, long passes, and they'll be Holding on the left hand side, and then in the right hand side, it'll be Mustafi. I generally think that he'll pick that side, and in the midfield, it's going to be Ceballos and Xhaka. And I think for me, the team I'll pick, Aubameyang will play on the left hand side, Lacazette in the middle, and I'll play Saka on the right hand side. For the simple reason is that my problem with Pepe is his penchant of trying to cut in, lose possession in silly areas, not jogging back And against a team like Man City, it's going to be suicide. There was a lot of times in the game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where there was the good, the bad, and the ugly from Pepe, which you are going to get with a skillful player like that. But when you do lose the ball against good teams, try and bring it back. You know what I mean? Because what you're doing is that when you do lose the ball and the ball goes in transition, Man City they're like lightning when they get the ball. It could be like bing, bing, bang, straight at your back four within seconds. And that's one of the reasons I can't risk him in a game like this. I just can't do it. And I think the Saka will be the more direct player. And not only will he be a more direct player, he also has the sort of discipline in order to double up and protect the win back when the inevitable happens where either Mendy or Shevchenko make those darts down the right hand side, as will Aubameyang protect Tierney in that area. And that because the thing is that I'm not sure of Pepe's tactical discipline, because we are going to be without the ball a lot of the times. And there's going to be times when Pepe is going to have to make sacrifices. I'm not convinced he's going to make those sacrifices like I think Saka would do, i.e. obey his manager's instructions. I can hear where Lee's come from in terms of like, if we do get an attack, you want the express pace of Pepe and Aubameyang supporting Lacazette when he holds the ball up. I get that, but it's going to be very difficult for us, and it's going to be probably minimal times when we are going to get those situations. You've got to realise another thing as well. You've got to prepare yourself for a 120-minute game. After all, extra time penalties. So Pepe may come on like I said, the second half, he might come in, extra time, which is probably going to be our best bet of winning it. But I want tactical discipline against what I believe is an excellent footballing side. And I can't risk a player who gets caught in possession. And that's why I think, and I hope Arteta takes that on board, because you give the ball away against Man City, you might as well, pray that they take mercy on you. And they won't.
Ken, I think you bring up some great points there, mate. I really do. I think that you've made your case on why you would not start Pepe pretty well. I don't think you're too far off with the team lineup there. Manny, what did you make of the team lineup that Ken said, and what do you think the team will be? Because me and you had a chat earlier about what we'd like to see happen. What are you expecting to see, mate?
I don't know. I don't know what to expect. He's going to throw us a curveball. I wouldn't be surprised if I see Torreira starting ahead of Ceballos. You know what I mean? I'll tell you one change I do want to see. Maitland-Niles a right wing back. I want to see Maitland-Niles a right wing back. He is our best defender. Stand-up defender. Look at it this season against Traore, against Martial, against Zaha at Selhurst Park. Maitland-Niles was full. The problem with Maitland-Niles is up here. It's not ability. It's up here, right? It's mental with Maitland-Niles. I get Kenny's point. I would take that gamble if you are playing Maitland-Niles behind him. Pepe has always come inside. Maitland-Niles will commit, or whoever's going to start. Maitland-Niles will go on the outside, which will allow Pepe to go infield, and we know what he can do. I want to see Saka on the left-hand side. Saka and Tierney over there and Aubameyang, it works. It works. The balance is there. And I worry about upsetting the balance on that left-hand side. Saka left, Tierney behind him, Aubameyang in front of him, Ceballos and Xhaka, Holding, Luiz, Tierney, Martinez, they're up top. That's what I want to see. I don't know what Arteta's going to do.
To be fair, a lot of people in the chat, Manny, agreeing with you. I think everybody wants to see the three that played last night as the three centre-halves. I personally would like to see Saka left and Maitland-Niles right. I said on the Tottenham preview, didn't I, Lee, that Maitland-Niles was a right back I do like, and I've seen him improve. So let's hope that he gets the nod.
As much as I love Arteta and I've got lots of praise and I will ever that is the one thing I can't understand why Maitland-Niles has not been given as many chances under Arteta, because he was absolutely outstanding against Sheffield United in the last round. played really, really well that day. He then come on against Wolves, as Manny said, and everybody's going, "Oh no, we lost Tierney." Was a bit worried, but he come on and just put in another masterclass performance, and I think he deserves it. I look at Bellerin and I look at Cedric, and I'm unsure of their performances. So why, it's not like he's being kept out by someone that's playing really well week in, week out, and you think to yourself, well, he's a bit unlucky. There is windows of opportunity which, for some unknown reason, he's not took. The only reason I said that he'd play Bellerin is because that's what I think Arteta would do. If it was down to me, I agree. Maitland-Niles would play. I thought again yesterday he got caught for the Mane chance, but recovered really well. His recovery run was fantastic, and he got him close to him and made him shoot wide. Which you've got to do to the likes of Sterling and Mahrez. Mahrez and Sterling can ghost past you, but what you've got to do then is the recovery run to get back at them. And I don't see that with Bellerin, and I don't see that with Cedric. I see it with Maitland-Niles.
That's great points. And I'm a fan of the lad, I think he has done well under Arteta. But one player I have a lot of admiration for, I want to give a special mention, is a player that does not play for Arsenal, but it's a player that's in his last contract at Man City. I would go as far to say that this player has probably been one of the best we've seen in the Premier League, and his name is David Silva. Now, the reason I love this guy so much is because you have players that you love that play for your club, but you have players you respect. And those players are always ones that people can neutrally say, I don't support Man City, be it, but David Silva is world class. And I look at David Silva and I think that everybody was so excited about Eden Hazard. And for me, David Silva has always been a better footballer than Eden Hazard. A lot of people say that's an unpopular opinion. A lot of people say no. For me, David Silva is a better footballer than Eden Hazard. He is a humble guy. He has technical ability. He drives the team forward. He controls the midfield. Ray, have I bigged him up enough? Does he deserve that much credit?
He can go a bit further, He's, he's right, if he played for somebody else, I'd have been really jealous because having watched him for the last nearly 10 years, he does control the game, and he's I can't remember now. He's got 10 assists this season. In his career at City in the league, he's got nearly 100 assists, which is fantastic for 10 years. But it's not just the assists and the goals he scores. It's the way he gets between the lines, and sometimes David Silva is the guy who does a lot of pre-assists. So he's the guy who times that pass to whoever's on the left hand side, and that's going to be one of the danger areas for you on Saturday is our left and your right, because you got David Silva working with when Sane was there, working with Sane and working with Delph when he was at left back, and David Silva I used to watch Sane running down the wing, and David Silva wouldn't release the ball, and Sane would get frustrated. And what David Silva was doing, he was just waiting that fraction of a second extra to make sure the defender had no chance with that extra, the extra fraction of a second where the defender had to come to David Silva, and David Silva could put it down the line for Sane or whoever was there. And it's just that little thing that sets him above a normal attacking midfielder. And he's just been fantastic. And you say he's humble. He's had problems with, a couple of years ago when his son was born prematurely, and he was flying out to Spain every week. He still put in a magnificent season when we were got those 100 points, and he's just done it season in, season out. And even now, actually, I was chatting to a mate of mine earlier on today, and he's saying he's playing some of the best football. It's like he's got a new lease of life after the enforced layoff, and he's just come back and he's just looked fantastic. I think he scored 3 or 4 goals, had 3 or 4 assists since he's come back, and he's looked majestic. And it's great that he only plays about 60 minutes, 65 minutes a game. So he's, I think, been rested enough and rotated enough to keep him fresh. And he's looked fantastic.
Yeah, he's been fantastic and he's been consistent. And this season, since Project Restart, the guy's been banging him in, assisting. He's been absolutely superb. But as much as I think Phil Foden is great and will be great, I don't think he's going to replace David Silva just like that. I think you are going to miss him next season. I just want one word from each of you before we go on to the next set into some predictions, because Lee Farrell's put up a great question here. Lee Judges, I'll start with you. A young Fabregas or a young David Silva?
Do you know what? I was just saying, just thinking that, unbelievably, before he actually put that question up, who would I say is the best? Because, that is a real tough one. I like David Silva. I've got to say that. Do you know what I like about David Silva is that I think that when the easy pass is on, he plays it. You know, he doesn't look for. He plays the right ball every single time. But for me, Fabregas was one of the best players that I've ever seen. Not just for Arsenal, for Chelsea as well. Like, you know, unbelievable player. So maybe just because I've seen Cesc play a little bit more, I would go Cesc. But you know, I think that's a tough question. You know, I'm pretty sure Ray will say David Silva for the same reasons that I'm saying Fabregas is. I think they're both wonderful players. But I think Fabregas maybe, if how can I say it, like, was probably didn't have as good of players as David Silva around him in his pomp. You know what I mean? And can carry the Arsenal team to places I don't think that those players deserve to go, but he sort of carried them. So I would say that for me, just Fabregas nicks it for that.
Was that a one-word answer?
Do you know what? I think that's a tough to ask a one.
It really is. Yeah, no, you're right.
You know,
Ray, you're going to go with David Silva, I guess.
Same reasons. I've seen David Silva play all the time, and I think that makes a difference. Yes, it makes a difference. He's one of our players, the same way Leah said with Fabregas, and I've seen him play for 10 years, so I've seen what he can do, and I've seen what people don't see on Match of the Day and highlights. And I'm sure exactly you've seen Fabregas do his stuff. I've only seen Fabregas on the odd televised game and in highlights and stuff like that. So it's difficult to make that comparison, but I've got to stick with David Silva. I just think he's been a level above. And if you look at Spain, who would Spain go with, Cesc Fabregas or David Silva? They go with David Silva. So, you know, I think that's good enough for me.
Yeah, I'm going to be really controversial because I love Cesc Fabregas, but I just think David Silva is one of the best Premier League players that there's been. I really do. I just think for consistency, for longevity, he's done it, been there and done it for everybody. The only thing I will say with what Lee said, which I totally agree with, is Fabregas did it with some pretty horrendous players around him. And that is the only thing I can say in comparison, because trust me, there was some really bad ones. Kenny and Manny, I'll get your say on this quick. Kenny, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with David Silva for the simple reason is that, like I said, it's both different players. But if you look at the Spain side of 2008, Aragonés was going with David Silva. I know they were vying for the Spanish shirt under Del Bosque, and sometimes it went to Fabregas, and sometimes it went to David Silva. But I think in terms of like David, I'm going for David Silva because he makes things look simple. You know what I mean? And, you know, as Ray says, like the thing that, you know, stood out, what Ray said was that always passes at the right time, which sometimes frustrates as well. I think in terms of like a long passer, in terms of that long through ball, Cesc is better than David Silva in doing that. But in terms of like all-round midfield play, just give it to David Silva for me. In terms of the way I like midfield to play, I'm going to go with David Silva.
Fair enough, mate. Manny, have the last say on this one, mate. Fabregas or David Silva, mate?
Sorry, man. I'm going with the heart. I'm going with Cesc Fabregas, bro. I'm going with Cesc Fabregas. Only against Tottenham when he danced through the team, that's enough for me to go Cesc Fabregas. Okay, I can go on. I can go on and on and on. I'm going to pick that one specifically. Or I could pick the goal against AC Milan. But I'm going to go with the Tottenham one. Oh, and for throwing a pizza at Alex Ferguson as well. Fabregas.
Man, I love that. That is a great way to end it. Boys, going to get some predictions, and then for the last 10 minutes, we're going to go through a dream team of Arsenal all-time players and Man City all-time players. Lead judges, let's start with you, mate. What score prediction are you going for on Saturday, my friend?
I think it'd be a tough game, and I think that Man City would just nick it. If I'll be honest, you know, I think 2-1. I think that we give them a good game, though. I think we'll be better off this time, but I think that they'll just nick it.
Okay, Ray.
I always say 2-0, and we always score 3. So I'm going to go 3-1 after extra time. I think you're going to give us a game, and if you score first, that's going to give you a lot of hope, and it's going to give you that something to hold on to. And if you see City, I'll tell you one thing: if you see City lumping the ball into the box from out wide, putting crosses in, and you're already ahead, City are going to lose because that's when they've got no idea. They're putting in the ball in for a 5'10" Gabriel Jesus. We'll have 2 men. No, that's how we do it. When we're struggling, we'll have 2 men in the box and we'll put 20, 30 crosses in. And the games we've lost this season, we look at some of them. That's what we were doing. Pumping balls in for Gabriel Jesus to get his head onto. No chance. And he might be the only one in the box. And he can't head the ball. I watch him head the ball and half the time he hits his shoulder. He can't, or he closes his eyes. So, I'll go 3-1. But if you score first, then I expect it to be a lot more difficult than most people expect it to be.
Okay, I like it. Kenny Ken, what are you going for, bro?
6-5 on penalties, but I ain't saying who to. Yeah. No, seriously. I'm only going by Chelsea, Sarri's blueprint after he got 6-0 thrashing last year. Sorry, I still call it Main Road. That's Shazal Ardai, the Etihad Stadium. Chelsea got thrashed 6-0. A game that Ray enjoyed very much, of course.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks later, they played at Wembley in the League Cup final. I think that is probably how Arteta's going to do it. He's going to frustrate City. If we get an attack and get a goal, brilliant. But I'm sorry, I love good defending anyway. I'm taking this down to 6-5 on penalties, but I won't say who to. And I'll just pray that whoever misses that penalty is a City player and we win. But 6-5 on penalties, I'm going for that.
Do you know what, Kenny Ken? In all the predictions, in all the predictions I've asked, I've never had one so specific in all my life, Kenny. I love it. 6-5 on penalties for Kenny Ken. Manny, let's go for you, man. What are you going for, bruv?
Yeah. City are going to beat us 2-0, man. That's the way I see it. But if I'm honest, man, I want to see the play actually. You know what I mean? But I think City will have too much for us, man. So, 2-0 City, bro.
Okay, man. Leaves me. I am going to agree with Ray, but I think Man City are going to beat us 3-1 in 90 minutes. But although that scoreline sounds like they've hammered us, I don't actually think they will. I think what will happen is we may capitulate towards the end and it may be 2 quick goals that we concede. I just feel like if I had that back three of last night, I'd be more confident, but I don't think it's going to be. I believe Kolasinac and Mustafi are going to walk back into that side and it's going to be a calamity. That's why I've gone 3-1 Man City. But I hope, of course, that I am wrong. Boys, bit of fun to end it. I sent you all the dream team earlier that I've put together. Ray was devastated that I'd only put 4 Man City players in it. But we have put one together and I wanted to get your opinion on it. It's about the players of all time. This is not current because I think we can all agree apart from Tierney and Aubameyang, everybody else would be wearing the sky blue. So what I've done is I'm just going to kind of see if we can get a situation. Oh, Kenny's just dropped off. Hopefully he'll come back in a minute. We're going to start with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper that I went for, I absolutely love Ederson. Don't get me wrong. I think Ederson is a fantastic goalkeeper and up there with Alisson as the best in the world. But purely for longevity and for the pure fact that he played for Arsenal and, of course, Man City. And Ray likes to call him a Man City legend as well. City legend. I've gone for David Seaman. Is there anyone that would disagree and put Ederson or any other goalkeeper ahead of David Seaman? I didn't think so. I think he is by far the one that we put in goal. Right back's very interesting, because I've gone for Lee Dixon. A lot of people would say Lauren. A lot of people would say Zabaleta. Zabaleta actually did cross my mind because I think he was fantastic for Man City. And as a fullback, in a modern day fullback, I thought he was superb. But I've gone for Lee Dixon. Lee Judges, do you think that's a fair shout?
No, I don't think that's a fair shout. I think Kyle Walker has to, as much as I don't like Kyle Walker has got to be pushed in with a shout. I really do. And Zabaleta, I think, would go there. But for me, I hate him. I'm a definite hater of him. But I think Kyle Walker was probably a little bit better than Lee Dixon. So I would go Kyle Walker.
Really?
Yeah.
Blimey. Kenny, are you agreeing with that?
Yeah, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, Ken.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Reason why, thing about Kyle Walker, I've seen him live.
Sanger's a good shout, by the way. Sorry.
I've seen him a few times, man. The guy's like an express train. I mean, I've never seen an athlete like that. You know what I mean? And I think he's not only is he good going forward, but because of his pace, he's got the recovery. And I think that athleticism he has at right back. Sorry, Arsenal fans, I have to agree with Mr. Judges. I'll have to pick him ahead of Dixon in terms of like not just the explosiveness going forward, but the recovery getting back as well. So it's,
this is already controversial.
The match the ball, like I said, right back for Arsenal is going to have to miss out.
Man, Ray's going to agree with Walker, or
I wasn't thinking of bringing Walker into the equation. I was focused on the attack and who you'd left out from City there, and I was Lauren, but I wouldn't have said no to Sanya because another City legend. And Dixon, he's a City fan, so I can't lose. But no, since two of you guys have gone for Walker, I'll go for Walker as well because I think when Pep came that first season, we had Sanya, who was 35 years old. We had, I think Zabaleta was, he looked 35. He might have been about 31 or something, 32. He was past it by then. And we ended the season with Jesus Nava as our right wing back, which is crap. He was crap going forward. He was crap defending. But Walker changes. Walker, and we on the other side, we started with Wenger, but we ended up with Zinchenko and Delph. But Walker really changed what Man City could do in an attacking sense. And he helped to transform the team. It might sound crazy, but he helped to transform the team, as did Edison. But Walker made a massive difference. He brought a lot of confidence, and he put pressure on the opposition with his runs down the wing. It puts pressure on you, and you end up thinking too much about what City are going to do to you rather than what you're going to do to them, and you end up defending against Walker. So I'll go with Walker as well.
Manny, we're outnumbered, bro. He's going to get the nod somehow, man. But I'm not actually a huge fan of Kyle Walker. I think he's a good player, don't get me wrong. But I believe that Lee Dixon is a better defender, as a better right back. So I'm going to go Dixon. That's my say. Manny, over to you.
I can't believe you guys chose Kyle Walker. He's a terrible defender. He is a terrible defender. All he is a kick and rush. No. If I had to choose, personally, Lauren was my favourite Arsenal right back. Personally. That's just because he wasn't a right back to begin with. He worked hard to become a right back. Very underrated. I loved when he took penalties because he was always so calm, cool and collected. He could defend. He was tough. Lauren is my pick. I cannot believe you guys chose Kyle Walker. That is just... That's
thing is, if you'd chosen Lauren, I'd have chosen Lauren too. But since I knew he'd picked Dicko, I thought, well, might as well let Walker win this.
Oh, look at that. Ray's blaming me. Look at this. Guys, let's move this on a bit. So I think we can all agree, as much as all of us hate him, I'm sure Ray probably does as well, the best left back is Ashley Cole. So we'll move on from there. That's all I want to say about the guy. He was a great left back for Arsenal, and he's better than any of the left backs that Man City have had, in my opinion. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Two centre halves. Lee Judges had a chat with me earlier and went, "Oh, I can't believe you've left Sol Campbell out." But I picked Tony Adams and Vincent Kompany. Lee, who would you pick?
Tony Adams and Sol Campbell.
Go on. Why would you leave Vinny Kompany out? Go on. Why?
Because I just think Sol Campbell was immense. I say it now, and I say it every time. Tony Adams is not mentioned as Mr. Arsenal because this man replaced him. And like any other player has not been, replaced. Everybody at Man City now is talking about, Kompany. We haven't replaced Kompany. The Sol Campbell, they don't talk about it like that. So Tony Adams left, Sol Campbell was the man. And I felt that he was immense, not just for Arsenal, for England as well. Listen, Company's a fantastic player. What I would actually do is probably like say to Vincent, play right back and dump Walker, if to be honest, if that's what I would do. But if you're going, and it's just purely out, listen, if everybody goes against me with Company, I'll understand it. But I just think Sol Campbell, when he come to Arsenal for 4 years, invincible, double winner, won a trophy in, I think, every year that he was at the club, apart from I think the last one where he got the Champions League final. To me, immense, but that's what I'm saying.
It's good point. Point well made, mate. I was going to go for Mustafi and Mangala, but I thought Vincent Company and Adams. They just beat me to. They just beat it to it, right? So it was going to be close. Kenny, let's come to you, man. Are you going to go with Adams and Company, or what two would you say?
Well, Adams is definitely a game, but I agree with the judges. Sol Campbell's probably one of the best centre halves I've seen in Premiership history. And we've seen some really good ones, and we include Vincent Company in it. We also, got Jamie Carragher and Mar as well. Not as good as John Terry, but he's another good centre half. So we've seen some really good ones. You see Vidic, Ferdinand, but for me, Sol Campbell definitely has to go alongside them. Sol Campbell was good in the air. He was strong in a tackle. He had pace. And it was, and he won most of his duels. You have to go with Sol.
Okay, Manny, I'm going to let you have the say on this. Am I going to be? Have I been too harsh on Sol Campbell here, Manny?
Yeah, you have. You really have. Adams and Campbell is a good balance of brains and brawn. So I cannot go for any other duo than Adams and Campbell, bro. No. He's Sol Campbell changed us when he came. That was a game changer. All right. So Sol Campbell and all day long.
Well, Ray, you're outnumbered, mate.
I like you, Ray.
No, first of all, as soon as Kenny Ken mentions Jamie Carragher, I ignored the rest of what he said. I mean,
come on.
Besides being a Scouser, you've got to kick him out for that reason alone. Come on, you can mention Jamie Carragher in the same breath as Sol Campbell, John Terry, and Adams and Company. Please, Kenny.
There's an elite level here, and Company is in that elite level. I've got to say that.
I think it's Brookside and Corrie here, isn't it?
Brookside
against Coronation Street.
After last night, Liverpool are not mentioned in any discussion of elite teams. Okay, so we're talking elite now. The thing about Company, we talk about what Sol Campbell, he won a trophy every season. If you look at what Company did in 10 years at City, he won 4 league titles.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I went for him.
Yeah. He's won, off the top of my head, 5 League Cups and 2 FA Cups. I mean, that's 11. So he's won at least 1 every season. He's been captain for most of that. And he joined when City were not very good, when he came from Hamburg for about, I think, 6 million quid. But one thing about companies is his leadership. And I talked, I think, with Potts about when a composite team in the past, and I was looking at Otamendi, because Otamendi had played 34 games in our Centurion season, but it's Company who drives the team on and off the pitch. He might not play that many games. Last season he played, I think, only 17 games, and his injuries have hurt him. But he's driven Manchester City to be the team they are, and they still are. I mean, we struggled this season badly in games. And if you look at the last 14 games last season, we had to win every single one to beat Liverpool to the title. And we put in, I think, 4 1-0 wins. And that's due to Vincent Kompany dragging us through games and grinding them out. This season, we can't grind salt or pepper. We was really struggling this season to keep clean sheets and go with a 1-0 win. I'll tell you, I saw a couple of guys like, I can't make that about grinding salt and pepper. But I think Vincent Kompany's really dragged us through. And I think, as I said, losing him has cost us big time, and not replacing him has really hurt us. And I love Sol Campbell. I love the fact that he left Shite Hart Lane to go to you guys on a free. That was fantastic. Trust me, most people hit Spurs as well up north as well as down in London. And the way I would do it is I would have had either one of Adams or Campbell and company, because I can't leave company out. I know he's not going to get through, but I couldn't leave him out.
Fair enough. We've gone for a back four of Kyle Walker, Sol Campbell, Tony Adams, and Ashley Cole. You think that was controversial? This is going to speed things up near now, because this is even harder. I've gone with 3 strikers. I've gone with Bergkamp, Henry, and Aguero, because I can't leave any 3 of them out. It's just ridiculous leaving any 3 of those out. That means there's only 3 midfielders, right? Now, this is what I've gone with, because I can't leave Patrick Vieira out. There's no way you can leave Patrick Vieira out. It's criminal to leave him out. In my opinion, it's also criminal to leave Yaya Toure out, because what he did with Man City was ridiculously good. And I also cannot leave David Silva out, because I've bigged him up enough. That means I've left out Fabregas, Pires, Sanchez, Lundberg, Gilberto, Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling. Help me out, guys. Lee, what 3 midfielders would you pick?
Well, you've got to have De Bruyne in there. You've got to have him in there. I think he's the best midfielder in the Premiership at the moment. So, for me, Vieira, Fabregas, and De Bruyne would be my 3.
Cool. Okay, Ken, 3 in midfield.
Well, the thing is, Patrick Vieira goes in there at the start, but but the thing is that the Yaya Toure a shout is a very powerful argument, because the simple reason is that before Pep,
it's one or the other, Ken.
I'm going with Yaya Toure. The simple reason is that
what, instead of Vieira?
No, I want Vieira and Yaya Toure on the side, because simple reason.
Oh, you're going. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you off.
The reason why I'm going Vieira speaks for itself. He's a complete midfielder. Yeah. But Yaya Toure, you can't leave out someone who gets 20 Premiership goals from midfield. You know what I mean? You just can't do that, especially in that season where no one wanted to win the league in 2014. We thought we wanted to win it. Then Liverpool thought they were winning it, and in the background, Man City were just waiting for Liverpool and Arsenal to mess up so they could just claim the spoils. In that season, Yaya Toure, somehow, I don't understand why he wasn't the Football Writers' Player of the Year that season. I can't leave out Yaya Toure, and he has to play alongside Vieira for me.
So who's the other one then, Ken? You got one more?
I've got to go for
David Silva?
Go for Robert Pires.
Pires, okay.
No, I've got to go for Robert Pires, because simple reason, Robert Pires on his day is unplayable. I still can't get that season 2001, 2002, where the 2002.
Yeah, that was class. Oh, has he gone? We've lost his signal. Manny, we'll come to you. What 3?
What Kenny was saying, he was saying, I would have gone for Robert Pires, but I'd rather go for David Silva. That's what I think Kenny was saying.
Manny, take it over, man. What 3 are you going for, man, to end this?
I'm definitely having Vieira and Toure in there. Just pace, power, aggression, just... I would those 2 at their pump. That's a salivating thought for me. And then because Bergkamp is going to be in there, right? Because Bergkamp's definitely going to be in there. I'm going to agree with Kenny and go with Pires, man. I'm going to have to, because Bergkamp's the brain. Bergkamp is the brain in there. So Pires for me.
Ooh, this is going to get fun. This is going to get
fun.
No
one mentioned Colin Bell. I just want to say that. He was a player, by the way.
Do you know what? Daniel Roberts says, how can you leave Stephen Ireland out?
He judges, none of us are as old as you, mate. That's why we haven't mentioned
Well, Ray, you're going to finish it off for us, man. What 3 are you going for?
Go on, Ray. What are you going for?
Screw the lot of you. I'm going with Yaya Toure, Kevin De Bruyne, and David Silva. Okay, Normally, I would have gone for Vieira. Normally, I would have had Vieira, another City legend. I would have gone for Vieira, but since you guys are not even having David Silva, the thing is, for what he's achieved, I'd have had David Silva.
Well, instead of De Bruyne.
Well,
really?
having Yaya, KDB, and Silva and giving them some vote. But the thing is, for what he's achieved so far, I would have had Silva above KDB. KDB's not done it long enough, and he's a fabulous player.
Fair enough.
For City, we're talking really. He's had one season out injured, so he's had 3 or 4 fabulous seasons. I think it's 4 now, but he's had, and so Silva's done it for 10 years. Right from the word dot, Silva's done it. KDB, I think give him 2 or 3 more years and he'll be up at the same level if he carries on performing the way he is as David Silva. So I can't leave David Silva out for what he's done. And yeah, Yaya that season scored 20 goals. I think he had a 90% pass success rate. I think he scored 10 goals from free kicks from 13 attempts. It was ridiculous. And he got us over the line that season. So I've got to have Yaya. And to be honest, I will have Vieira because you can't not have Vieira. I think for what he did for Arsenal, if you ask me in 2 or 3 years' time, if KDB keeps putting up the sort of numbers he does, then I think he really comes into. He will be in my middle 3. But I'll retract it a bit. And I'll go with Vieira, Silva, and Yaya Toure.
Lee Judges, you got the final vote. David Silva or Robert Pires, please, mate. Oh, he's on mute. You're on mute, Lee.
That's the best place for him, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't.
Me and Ray have gone David Silva. Kenny and Manny have gone Robert Pires. You went for De Bruyne, so you get the final vote. Is it Pires or Silva in this team?
I've got to go for Silva because he's had 10 years on that thing. You know what I mean? Robert Pires was a wonderful player. But because he's been in the duration of the 10-year thing, Robert done it for about 4 or 5 years. That's a real tough one. But I can't believe De Bruyne ain't got in there. But we go David Silva. It's there like that.
Lovely. And just before we finish, I want one word from all of you. Pep Guardiola or Arsene Wenger? Lee, who manages this
Arsene
team?
Wenger, because on Ray's theory, he has done it for a longer duration. So Arsene Wenger.
If you're looking at the top prizes, he did it up till about about 2004, and then he spent 12 years half destroying his legacy. So half his time at Arsenal was fabulous, and the other half, people
all that money that Pep's got, he ain't won the Champions League. Move on, Arsene Wenger.
In 23 years or 22 years, Arsene Wenger didn't win the Champions League. Give Pep some time. You want to talk about long?
He's got a little bit more of the old wedge to do it as well.
Pep's had a bit of wedge, but when Wenger was there, he had the proper wedge. When Wenger was there, when he come to Arsenal, you had Hillwood putting about 60 million quid or some, or whoever it was. I can't remember the names, but you had proper money then. When City we didn't have a pot to piss in. You had proper.
Look at this. This is going to go on forever. This debate.
It's like two.
So you're saying
it's two ball men over a comb, isn't it?
Yes. I'm saying Arsene Wenger. Ray's going to say Pep, you know what I mean. Next thing he'll be saying it's Joe Raw, but we'll just say like this, you know what I mean? Like, we'll keep it there,
Kenny, Pep Guardiola or Arsene Wenger, man?
Pep Guardiola by a mile.
Why don't you buy a train ticket to Manchester for crying out loud?
By a mile. He's a generational manager, and he's changed football. Some say for the better. And he actually can coach. So it's Pep Guardiola.
Manny, go for it.
Pep.
That's all you need to say, man, because I know you're not a huge Arsene Wenger fan. I loved Arsene Wenger, but I'm sorry, Lee. Pep Guardiola is absolute genius. So it's going to be Pep, man. It's going to be Pep.
I mean, I suspect Pep has won in 4 years at Man City almost as many trophies as Wenger won.
Oh God, oh jeez, no, yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I mean, you got, was it 3 league titles under Arsenal or 2? I can't remember.
3,
5 or 6 FA Cups and maybe a League Cup. I don't know. And I don't think you won anything in Europe. And Pep in his time, he's got, from off the top of my head, he's got 3 League Cups, 2 leagues, and an FA Cup. That's 6 trophies in 4 years. It's not bad.
And a big checkbook.
Oh, come on.
Right. We've got to wrap this up.
And
Let me
Zabaleta.
up, I've had it up there. Wrap it up. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's been a pleasure. I hope we have a good game at the weekend. I want to see a performance, but we have come and we have come to a close. Lee, thank you very much, mate. Hope you enjoyed that, mate.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's brilliant. Always good to talk to Ray. You know what I mean? He's quite a good City fan, to be honest. So, yeah, it's always good.
Good stuff. Ray, thanks for coming on again, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Anytime, mate. It's always good fun.
Good stuff. Manny, thanks very much. Mate, plug a bit of Arse Bros, man, because me and you are going to go over there now. So plug what's going on, man.
Yeah, and if you want to listen to more of me, Potts, talk about Mikel Arteta and his explosive press conferences versus the board, head over to Arse Bros or Rats on YouTube. We're going to be talking about it, and we're going to unpick everything. That's going to be a good one. Thanks for having me, Potts, man.
Manny, you're always welcome, man. You know I appreciate you. And Kenny, likewise, appreciate yourself, man. Thanks ever so much for coming on, Kenny. And we shall catch up with you soon, man. Oh, look at that. He's even gone. Boys, thank you all.
How rude of that.
How rude.
How rude.
Kenny,
No,
thank you, mate.
You know what it was? Is a Chinese. I was just thought the Chinese has been turned out. That's all.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry,
Chinese
I've
again.
got my dinner and all now. Like, lovely, jubbly.
Good stuff, boys. Listen, everyone in the chat room, thank you very much. We'll see you on Monday night for another episode of Same Old Arsenal. If you do fancy heading over to Arse Bros Rant on YouTube to listen to myself and Manny, then please do so. Until then, we will see you next time. Up the Arsenal.
And we're off to Wembley.